Good evening. Welcome to Asia Newsline. I'm Lepakshi Kurana. Here are the top stories we're tracking for you on Monday, the 30th of October. India-Italy inked 6 agreements to bolster ties between two countries in New Delhi. Taliban claims a US hostage in Afghanistan seriously ill. And Sri Lankan Foreign Minister holds talk with Chinese counterpart in Beijing. And now for all the details, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Monday met his Italian counterpart Paolo Gentiloni in capital New Delhi. Both the leaders held delegation-level talks and also addressed a joint press statement to bolster ties between New Delhi and Rome.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi met his Italian counterpart Paolo Gentiloni in capital New Delhi on Monday. Both the leaders held delegation-level talks to review the entire spectrum of bilateral relationship between India and Italy. They also interacted with 12 Indian and 19 Italian business leaders for boosting economic and investment cooperation between the two countries. Prime Minister Modi and his Italian counterpart Gentiloni also witnessed the exchange of 6 agreements, including joint declaration for cooperation for safety in the railway sector. Both the leaders also addressed a joint press statement and agreed to fight against terror.
आज बातचीत में मैंने अनुभव किया, हम दोनों ही अपने द्विपक्षीय संबंधों को नई ऊंचाइयों पर ले जाने के लिए इच्छुक हैं और आपकी इस यात्रा से हमें अपने संबंधों की नई प्राथमिकताएं तय करने का अवसर मिला है.
Earlier in the day, Gentiloni met Indian Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj and discussed issues of mutual interest. He also paid tribute to India's iconic freedom fighter Mahatma Gandhi at his memorial and was accorded a ceremonial welcome at Rashtrapati Bhavan, the official residence of the Indian President. Gentiloni is on a 2-day visit to India, and his visit is the first by an Italian Prime Minister in a decade.
Moving on, the Taliban on Monday said that an American professor who was taken hostage by the militant group in Afghanistan last year is seriously ill and his health is deteriorating. The Taliban warned the United States to meet the group's demands as soon as possible or it would not be accountable for the death of the hostage.
The Afghan Taliban on Monday said that Kevin King, one of the 2 professors from the American University of Afghanistan who were kidnapped at gunpoint in Kabul last year, is seriously ill and needs urgent medical attention. Taliban spokesman Zabihullah Mujahid in a statement said King was suffering from dangerous heart disease and kidney problem. The militant group said they have tried to treat him time to time, but they lacked medical facilities as they are in a war situation. The Taliban warned the US to meet its demands as early as possible or it would not be responsible for the professor's death. Earlier this year, the Taliban released a video of King and his Australian colleague Timothy Weeks showing them pleading with their government to release Taliban prisoners in turn for their freedom. Meanwhile, Afghan CEO Abdullah Abdullah on Sunday called on the UN Security Council's Sanctions Committee to improve monitoring mechanisms and impose sanctions on Taliban leaders. During meeting with UNSC's Sanctions Committee head Khairat Umarov in Kabul on Sunday, Abdullah said the armed Taliban are ruthless killers of innocent people and they are responsible for the destruction of the country. Umarov reiterated their commitment to working and standing with the Afghan government in preventing security threats and bringing peace to the country.
More on news from Afghanistan. Governor of Afghanistan's northern Balkh province, Atta Mohammad Noor, has slammed government leaders for negligent security and accused them of poor management. He said that he is thinking about running for presidency in the next elections.
Afghanistan's northern Balkh's provincial governor Atta Mohammad Noor on Sunday slammed government leaders. He said the government was negligent in maintaining security and there has been a sharp rise in casualties among soldiers, which was a shame for the government. Speaking at the 94th anniversary of the declaration of the Republic of Turkey, Noor blasted the National Unity Government or NUG leaders and said he is thinking about running for presidency in the next elections.
هر وزارت صدها قرارداد دارد. هر قرارداد با اصطلاح انباری از کاغذ می داشته باشه. یک نفر چی کمالات داره که رئیس جمهور بده باشه و همین همه کاغذا رو بخونه. ما علاقمند نیستیم که بریم رئیس کمیسیون تدارکات خاص شو. من نامش وزارت پیش کردن من قبول ندارم نمیگم. مگر وقت اگر تصمیم گرفتم باز کاندید میکنم برای ریاست جمهوری بخیر اگر خاص موصله بود.
Noor stressed the current situation in the country is worse than that during the Taliban regime. According to Noor, due to poor management by the government, Afghanistan itself has become a safe haven for insurgents. Noor urged the United States to consult political parties on the implementation of its strategy, otherwise their plans would fail.
Meanwhile, residents of Neelam Valley in Pakistan-administered Kashmir recently staged a protest against Pakistan Army and the intelligence agencies. They highlighted abduction and disappearance of people, particularly the youth in the valley, at the hands of Pakistani authorities. The protesters demanded that the brutal act of abduction and disappearance of youth be stopped. They alleged that Pakistani army tortured the youth and was also involved in forcibly grabbing the land of people despite registration of their property. They claimed that those living along the border areas were being exploited as proxies by the Pakistani army against India. Moving on to news from Nepal, the Election Commission of Nepal has agreed to print 2 separate ballot papers for the upcoming federal and provincial elections. The decision came after Nepal's apex court last week ordered the EC to print separate ballots for the polls.
Honouring the Supreme Court's ruling, the Election Commission of Nepal on Sunday agreed to print 2 separate ballot papers for the upcoming federal and provincial polls. The Nepal's apex court had on October 25 ordered the Election Commission or EC to ensure separate ballot papers for both the elections. The order was issued in response to a contempt of court writ filed by Sarbendranath Shukla, a Rashtriya Janata Party Nepal or RJPN leader. The Election Commission had then expressed that reprinting of ballot papers cannot be made due to time constraint. Nepal will witness federal and provincial polls on November 26 and December 7.
In news from Bangladesh, a Bangladeshi court on Sunday sentenced 11 people to jail for 20 years each for attempting to assassinate Bangladeshi Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina in 1989. The 11 accused, all members of the Bangladesh Freedom Party, were also sentenced to life imprisonment for hurling bombs at Hasina's home in Dhaka on the same day. One of the accused, Humayun Kabir, was acquitted because of lack of evidence. Hasina was the leader of the opposition at the time of the assassination attempt. A total of 12 witnesses testified before the court since the trial in the case began in 2009. Sri Lankan Foreign Minister Tilak Marapana on Monday met his Chinese counterpart Wang Yi in China's capital, Beijing. Marapana is on a 6-day visit to China aimed at boosting bilateral ties.
Sri Lanka's Foreign Minister Tilak Marapana on Monday met his Chinese counterpart Wang Yi during his official visit to China. The two shook hands at the Chinese Foreign Ministry in Beijing before a meeting followed by a signing ceremony. Both foreign ministers signed a certificate for the exchange of ratification of a treaty on legal cooperation. Marapana, during his 6-day-long visit, is expected to attend events marking 60 years of relations between the two countries. The Sri Lankan minister's visit to the country comes 3 months after Colombo signed a long-delayed $1.1 billion deal to lease its southern Hambantota port to China. The signed deal sparked widespread public anger as Chinese control of the port to develop an adjacent industrial zone provoked fears it could be used by Chinese naval vessels.
Apple cultivation in India's northern Jammu and Kashmir province is one of the mainstays of the valley's economy. Apple growers in the valley this year are happy to witness boost in apple production due to favorable weather conditions and quality seeds.
Apple growers in India's northern Jammu and Kashmir province are happy and excited to see the boost in production this year due to favorable weather conditions and quality seeds. The increased production is likely to generate higher revenue for the growers this time. Apple growers in Ganderbal district of the province have already started sending their first produce to the local markets.
इंशाल्लाह इस साल जो हमारे फसल है ये तो बिल्कुल अच्छा है, किसी जगह अच्छा है, किसी जगह ये बिल्कुल अगले सालों से जो पिछले साल है उसमें थोड़ा हो गया, आज तो अल्लाह के फजल से बिल्कुल ठीक है, अच्छी तरीके से चल रहा है और अच्छा पक रहा है और अच्छा बिल्कुल अच्छा है.
Experts in the region now aim to provide guidance over fertilizers and other aspects of farming to growers to boost the production with best quality.
मेन जो वजूहत हैं वो ये है कि हमारा जो फील्ड फंक्शनरीज हैं, HDOs हैं हमारे या टेक्नीशियंस हैं वो वक्त पे जाकर के अपने एरियाज़ में लोगों को सारी जितनी भी बागवानी के मुताल्लिक एक्टिविटीज़ हैं या जो उनको बीमारी या कीड़े मकोड़े की वो जो उनको नुकसान करते हैं उसका जो नुकसान होता था वो उनके जाने से गाइडेंस देने से वो बहुत सारा उसमें रोक आई है.
Jammu and Kashmir province is one of the most popular provinces of the country which produces good quality apples in large scale. The entire process of apple production also provides employment opportunities to the youth and boosts revenue.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude, the top stories once again. India-Italy ink 6 agreements to bolster ties between two countries in New Delhi. Taliban claims a US hostage in Afghanistan seriously ill. And Sri Lankan Foreign Minister holds talk with Chinese counterpart in Beijing. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Good night.